Welcome to Behind the Scenes. In this episode, we speak with some of the folks that help our film and television industry grow and thrive in Alberta.
Picture this. You're making a movie. A movie with horses and prairie and foothills and big sky. You're making a movie in Alberta.
Well, I think, it's sort of a situation where a rising tide raises all ships, So we have Hell on Wheels, we have Heartland, Fargo, and it's employing a lot of people in our industry. And those people also, they may have a job in a capacity on that show, but they also have their own project, and they gain experience from working on a show like Hell on Wheels, let's say, and then that just gives them the tools they need to go out and make their own projects, and I think that's what's starting to happen.
I think there's certainly more projects happening and more opportunities to grow our talent and grow our crews. We just didn't have enough projects to bring up a new bunch of people to head department or to assist. So they were stagnant and staying in some of the lower positions. But now we're able to move them up into key positions.
Well, I know the guilds and unions are constantly trying to bring in new members. They're going to the post-secondary institutions, trying to encourage members to stay in Alberta because there's a lot of work here. Speaking from actors' point of view, we are doing a ton of professional development, trying to raise the standards, get them practiced up, get them ready to go, so that when the productions do come to town, we've got this talented cast and crew base just waiting.
I'm rolling.
6 feet, take one.
Action.
We've seen a huge growth in our membership. We definitely have more people coming in and renting gear from us. And the interesting thing is that a lot of these people coming in and renting gear are working crew on these productions. They're going out, they're spending a couple of months working on set, like Hell on Wheels or something like that, and then they're done. They've got some money in their pocket and they're excited to come and work on their own projects. So it's great. They get experience working on set, they can develop their own craft, and then they can come to us and do something with their own creative initiatives.
Well, I think what's happening is that there's been a lot of investment in training that's happened at the post-secondary level, and a lot of those people are moving into our industry and starting to, spread their wings a little bit, and luckily they're getting support. They have such creative energy that they're just blowing the walls off.
Well, with the incentive program that we have right now, the Alberta Media Fund, there's enhanced little incentives in that fund through the guidelines to encourage local and foreign producers to hire local talent. So they get a little bit of a bump up in their incentive if they do hire local.
The Yukon is 4,650 miles. I had nothing in my pocket, but a head full of hope.
Over the last 5 years, the guidelines have slowly evolved and changed so that more and more key creatives, we like to call them, department heads, are getting hired, which is great because it's allowed some of the young people that are just entering the industry to move in and get that opportunity that they might not necessarily have in other jurisdictions.
I love to have the new permits on my crews. I love to mentor them and teach them. And as well, for instance, I started Hell on Wheels, did it for 2 years. And then I left the show to do other things. But I left a great crew. And that crew then took over the show. So now they have the experience of being heads of department and doing a very fine production. And I took my crew onto another production. This is what you do. You grow the crew, you stay on a show, and then turn it over.
I believe we have about 200 members So within that 200 people, I think we end up with about 60 productions that are like super active. Wake up. Coming out of CSIF per year.
It's great to see industry veterans getting recognition that they, on an international level, that they may have had, within Alberta or within Canada, but now it's elevated to that level. Those people are all acting as mentors to the next generation who are working with them, and I just don't see any downside to that.
There's nothing wrong with living by the rules. As long as you're willing to die by them.
A lot of doors will be opened by an Emmy nomination, and companies like Nomadic that produce Fargo are getting known internationally as the go-to guys. So if you need it done and you need something that's going to deliver, an Emmy nomination is a pretty good accolade.
So you're asking me to kill this man?
No, I was joking.
Yes or no?
When I get nominated, it shows that we have good, strong crews here. It shows the industry in the world that Alberta has top-notch crews, which I know we do. We've had very high nominations in Emmys in Alberta and Academy Awards in the movie side of things. And I think that that's very telling about the experience level that we have in Alberta. We have the ability to match anywhere, and I hear it from directors all the time, how great the crews are here.
Hey Tim, just come to your right a little bit more.
I would say that most of our members that make films want their films to be shown. Most of them will submit to festivals. We were really lucky this year to see all but one of the films in the Alberta Spirit Gala for SIF was a CSIF member, which was really, really awesome for us. So that's a really great resource for them to be able to show in Calgary, but we've had people show all over the world. We've also had people get picked up with distributors for sure, and that's something again that we really try to push for our members, because a lot of people will finish a film and say, now what? And sometimes it will just sit there. So we're really trying to push our members to access resources that we have about applying for grants for dissemination of your film and marketing, and finding a distributor, because that's the stuff that people don't really think about when they're in the midst of making something, but it's so important. So we're definitely seeing an increase in exposure for our members all over the world, not just in Calgary, which is very exciting.
As you know, our world has changed in film and television. It's completely, 5 years ago to now, it's completely a sea change. And what that's allowed producers is there's a fantastic opportunity right now for Albertans to get their stories out there to the world.
Sergeant?
And not just have to go through these narrow channels that they used to have to go through. At the same token, there's a lot more challenges to that, because there's so many more opportunities. It's like, where do I start?
All right, here we go. Quiet, please. Pictures up. Let's roll sound.
So much is being made right now, and it's really exciting, but I think that people need to think about it in a critical way. So I think that dialogue is super important for us.
I think we will grow and develop. I like to see the balance here, growing our own Indigenous production as well as the service production here in Alberta. I think there's room for both, and I think they both need each other. I think one helps the younger talent to learn and grow, and the other feeds the talent that is established here. And I think they both have a place and a relationship and a good bond, and I hope that we continue to foster our own, as well as do things that help attract the larger scale productions to come in.
Right now we have tremendous support from both the province and municipal governments like the City of Calgary and Calgary Economic Development. And they've given us long-term commitments in the way of funding for the AMF, and of course with the Calgary studio, that'll bring some stability. So I think we're on the cusp of something great happening because we will continue to have the support to bring in the foreign production, but we have this groundswell of young people that are, working hard, wanting to stay here, fighting to stay here, and creating tremendous content. So I think it's, the sky's the limit right now.
Für immer.
With the investment that's recently been made in infrastructure in Calgary and in Edmonton, and also with improvements to the fund and initiatives that are ongoing to attract private investment, I see that there's the potential for explosive growth in our industry in Alberta, which is great for the province because it's diversifying our economy and it brings in fantastic economic benefit to the province. So I see the potential for unlimited growth.
We lost a lot of our people when we had a bit of a slump here about 5 years ago. And now we're starting to build them back up again. Why? Because the productions are coming back here.
Beat it, Shinky, it's a family thing. Why can't he stay? Because your mom doesn't like him.
Oh no, I never said that.
Okay, let me rephrase that, because I don't like him.
The incentives have been made better to foster more production coming in. And I think that's what it's all about, is if we can create an atmosphere in Alberta that attracts the right kind of production here, then we will keep our people here. They will come out of school here and not feel a need to leave.
Well, that's it for this episode of Behind the Scenes. Thanks for watching.
Behind the Scenes is a collaboration between Calgary Economic Development, industry, Alberta Film, and community stakeholders.